Hey everyone, Carolina Venom here. Today I'm doing a introduction video on the Sharp Aquos Crystal. This phone is on Boost Mobile, and I want to kind of give you my first thoughts of it. Run some give you the specs, run some tests, take you around the phone, and all that stuff. And it's kind of just give you a first impressions of this phone. This phone runs Android 4.4.2. It does have a 5-inch bezel-less display at 720 by 1280 pixels at 294 ppi. It does have an LCD multi-touch touchscreen. It has an 8 megapixel camera on the rear with an LED flash, and has a number of features like smile detection, face detection, HDR, panorama, stuff like that. It does record in full 1080p HD at 30 frames per second. On the front, down here at the bottom, it has a 1.2 megapixel camera. It also records in 720, and when you cut on the front-facing camera, it says for best results, turn the phone upside down to take a selfie picture or whatever the case may be. I don't have any problems either way, this way or this way, but of course it says for best results, turn upside down, but that's just the Aquos way. So yeah. This phone runs a 1.2 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor with 1.5 gigs of RAM with 8 gigs of built-in storage with around 4.1 gigabytes of maximum user storage, and it will support up to 128 gigabyte micro SD card. It has a 2040 milliampere battery that is not user replaceable, and it has around 13 hours of talk time. And it does say here that the company promises 3 days of battery life with normal usage. This is a LTE device, and it does support Sprint's enhanced LTE, which is Spark, for faster download and upload speeds. And this is a pretty nice phone. There's not much to say about it as far as the processor and how the performance is. I've not really tested it that far yet, but I have used it a little bit. I do not have Boost Mobile, so I can't test the network speeds right now or nothing like that. I have called customer service to see how the call quality is and everything, and I'll get into all that when I take you on the phone. Down here at the bottom, like I said, is your front-facing camera, your proximity sensor. Right here beside it, you do have a notification light. You do not have a ear speaker here. When you get a phone call, it radiates to the screen to get your call quality, and it is pretty good, to be honest with you. It does sound a little blocky at times, but overall it's pretty good. On this side here, you have nothing. On the bottom, you have your micro USB charging port, microphone here. On the side is your volume rocker. On top is your power button, 3.5mm headset jack. On the back is your noise cancellation mic, your camera, flash, and your single rear speaker. I would take out the back cover to show you the LTE SIM card slot and the micro SD card slot, but taking this thing off with one hand is kind of hard, so therefore I'm going to leave it on. The back is pretty slick. It does have a little bit of texture here, as you see, but there is no grip, and it is pretty slick. The phone, even though it has a 5-inch display, with it being bezel-less, the phone does seem much smaller than it really is. You do get the full 5-inch display, of course, but when you're holding the phone, it does seem to be smaller than it really is, which makes it really nice to hold. And it's just a really nice phone in general. I love the way the phone looks, the colors of the phone, the white on the back, kind of the silver on the side, and I mean, it's just a really good looking phone. And ever since this phone came out, I have wanted to try this phone out and use it and see how I liked it. And so far, like I say, it's pretty average on performance. It has pretty much the exact same specs that you will see on the Kyocera Hydro Icon on Boost Mobile. The same quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor with 1.5 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigs of built-in storage, so pretty much the exact same specs and everything with this phone as you see with that phone, so you can about expect the performance to be about the same. I have noticed when you power the phone on, that the screen does look good. It is a 720p display, and it does look relatively sharp and clear and easy to see. I have noticed some lag even though when you're scrolling at times. Right now it seems to be very smooth and lag free. Of course, every Android has some form of lag, but right now it seems to be running pretty smooth. Yesterday I cut it on, and it's like it kind of wanted to like jerk a little bit and then scroll over. But right now it seems to be doing pretty good. I did run some benchmark tests on it, which I'll show you the Antutu benchmark first. And this one here came in, so I can get it pulled up here, at 18,369, which is pretty average for a lot of phones you see with this kind of processor. The Huawei Tribute runs about the same speed as this, along with the Kyocera Hydro Icon, the LG Volt. They're all about the same speeds. When you go in here and push this and go into the performance, this is the most up-to-date Antutu benchmark. As you see, it's taking forever for it to load. It says it's got general performance to 50% to surpass its other devices. Game performance says poor game performance, and battery life was also average as well. So I really not tested games out, nothing like that. I still got to load it down with apps and stuff like that to see how it's going to run when it's loaded down with apps, because of course anybody by the phone like this here ain't going to have just a few apps here and there like Benchmark and Antutu, you know what I'm saying? So therefore I will be loading this phone down with apps for the next review, running more tests and all that good stuff. The quadrant test that I just ran a minute ago was 8,421, which, like I say, is pretty on par with phones like this with the similar processors. CPU was 32,307. I will be getting into the camera on the next video. This thing here does take pretty decent pictures. It's not the clearest camera I've seen, but it does do a pretty good job. The video camera really is excellent on this phone. I really like the video camera on it. The front-facing camera is pretty good as well. I'll be getting into that in the next video as well. I just wanted to kind of tell you my first thoughts on this phone. But it is a nice phone. I do like it. Call quality, calling customer service does seem to, be pretty good. Like I say, it is a little blocky, a little hollow, but it does sound pretty good overall. The back speaker quality, as a lot of y'all have heard, is a little weak, but it does okay. If you got the phone laying down like this and the phone was to ring, you're probably going to have a hard time hearing it in a different room because it is pretty flat, and when you lay it down flat on its back, then it's going to be really muffled. I believe that all phones should either have front-facing speakers or at least on the bottom of the phone, because the back of the phone is not a good place for a speaker, But I will be doing further tests and everything. This was just the initial look at the Sharp Aquos Crystal. So far, I do like it, but after using it some more and loading it down with apps and really using it kind of hard and heavy, I'm going to do some battery tests on it as well. Of course, I can't make phone calls on the phone because it's not activated. So, we'll do all of that and everything, and we'll see how it works out. So, anyway, got any questions or comments, please feel free to ask me. I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Subscribe to my channel. I sure would appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later.